Hi, everyone. I'm Steve here with Pastor Victor Brote. Thanks for being with us, Pastor.
Hey, glad to be here.
All right, we're going to talk about something that is a serious pet peeve of mine because it's not being explained. The reality of what this is not being explained detailed enough for me and accurately enough on what has happened in the Trump fraud case. Now, I don't care who the judge is. I don't care who the prosecutor is. I don't care that Trump is the one that they're going after. But this is wrong. I don't care. You can switch them. Switch Joe Biden and Donald Trump. Switch them if you want. I don't care.
Still
But
be
what
wrong.
I'm going to, this is not about I like this guy or I don't like this guy or you're screwing him over. All I want to explain is exactly what happened and why this court has their head up their rear end, because that's the case. Sorry. So, because I've done this as a business owner 10 or 12 times. I didn't get arrested. I don't have a mugshot. And what happened in this case, what Donald Trump did, what his corporation did, is exactly what business does. Here's how it works. I have a financial statement. Accounting is subjective. I say, the bank said, I go to the bank and I say, I want to build a building. Will you loan me money? And they say, sure, we'll give you 70%. You got to put 30% down. I say, okay, here's the building. Here's my budget. Here's what it's going to cost. Here's what the value of the building is going to be. Here's my financial statement. I give that to the bank and I say, will you fund this project for me? That's all. No laws broken yet, right? So I go and I give this information to the bank. The bank says, let's take a look at it. So then what does the bank do? They bring in appraisers that I have to pay for, but it's the bank's appraisers. They're going to come in and they're going to have it appraised by a third party. It's usually an appraisal company that the bank likes to work with because they like the work that this appraisal company does. And they like the numbers because it benefits the bank. So the bank makes this higher. And sometimes you get two appraisals. Maybe the person that is, doing the project, in this case it was Donald Trump, is going to do the project. And maybe he gets another appraisal. And sometimes they'll go halfway. Okay, we'll take your appraisal and our appraisal. We'll go halfway, and then we're going to do the loan on that average appraisal. So the bank is the one with the final decision. Donald Trump, me, Steve Main, I have no say on what the bank is going to loan me. I could say, you know what, bank? I'm worth $2 billion with a B. Now they're going to laugh at me, but I can say that. That's not breaking a law. They're going to go, your financial statement is a joke. This is what it should be. That's what happens. Now, I'm not going to say I'm worth $2 billion, but I have a financial statement that the bank might not agree with. But that's the start. I give it to them. They evaluate it and they go, yeah, okay. Yeah, we might think you're worth a little bit more, or maybe it's a little less, but here's our evaluators. From there, they give a loan. That's what happened. He got a loan. He built a building. He did a project. The bank did a loan. The bank was giddy about it. The bank says, we're going to charge you this much interest. because maybe your financial statement isn't quite as good as we want it to be. We're going to charge you a little more interest. Oh, your financial statement's really good. We're going to give you a little break on the interest. We'll charge you a little less. So he does his project. He pays the money back. Everyone's happy. That's how business works.
And
so
and
hopefully,
I got to add this,
yeah.
Steve. Everybody made money. Everybody left the deal making money, and that's what counts. And these people at the banks, they project very accurately on what risk they can take and what they can't take.
And they're conservative. They're conservative on that number. They're not going to take any chances. They don't.
Yeah, they're not going to say, "Oh my goodness, we have to lend this money to this bad risk." No, they don't do that. They evaluate that so
they
hard,
say no,
so thoroughly. Yeah.
Or they say, "Hey, we're going to make a lot of money. Let's do it." So there's no fraud. Fraud implies that someone tricked the other guy. Nobody tricked anybody. There was no fraud. There was no laws broken. And you hear the media, these are reporters. These are journalists. They don't know how business works. They don't understand finance. I have an MBA with a concentration in finance. I'm an accredited asset management specialist. And so when I hear this stuff, when I hear journalists say, he cheated, he fraud, he lied, that did not happen. I don't know if he did everything right. No, he did do everything right. Just like I've done it 10 or 12 times. I'm not a billionaire. So my numbers are just small that I work with. The buildings that I own are worth, 5 million, maybe 10 million. But they're not worth anything if somebody won't buy them, right? So I've had real estate agents say, "Oh, that's worth $10 million. Oh, wow, that's cool." But if it doesn't sell, if I sell it for $5 million, it's not worth $10 million. So the process of the negotiating and all that has to take place. So it's not billions of dollars like Donald Trump or Mr. Wonderful, who's talking about this a lot. Anyway, that's my explanation. If you have questions, if you guys think I'm nuts, I'm pretty sure I'm not nuts on this one. So any last thoughts, Victor?
Oh, there's so much there. I think people have, in this day and age, twisted reality to fit their agenda. That's the first thing I think. And that is so backwards. But what's happening is amazing. People are removing their investments from New York. Because if some guy, some businessman says this in public and all of a sudden it's insulting to some politician or some reason, they just cut you off and put claims against you, even though reality is not the case. People want to leave their investments from New York and they're traveling to other places. And there's a reason. New Yorkers, if you move, don't bring your politics with you. Bring a savvy attitude. Don't make this mistake again and again, because you cannot do business. You cannot sustain anything in that kind of climate. And I'm back to, this is why a lot of countries don't work. Dictators have to take over because everybody's promised the moon. They've switched reality. And nobody wants to invest, and it kills everything around you. You might as well take weed poison and just spray all over the city, because that's what it's turning into with that kind of attitude. And I'm not particularly for Trump in a lot of ways. I don't like.
Yeah, and we're not. This isn't about Trump for sure. It's not about Trump. It's not, defending him or not defending him. It's defending the reality of the process.
Yes.
And the bank is the one that determines the process, not Donald Trump, not Steve Main, not Victor Brodt, not Joe Blow. The bank determines the process. The bank determines the amount of the loan. It doesn't matter if Donald Trump says, "Hey, I'm Orange Man." They don't care. It has nothing to do with anything.
Yeah, if you go yourself and you want to buy a house, and the house is for sale for $1 million, and you want to take a loan out on it, the bank says this is worth $5. It's sitting on a fault line. It's ready to crash. We're not going to give you that. There's no loan. You can't just twist their arm. Maybe, if you can wheel it away from that location, but that's about the only way you're going to get around it. The reality is the value is the value. And if they make a little mistake, it'll be to the conservative side, to their benefit. They don't make a big mistake on your behalf. They might make a big mistake on their behalf, and that's the only way it happens in the real world of finances and business. It just doesn't go any other way around, unless you're stupid and out of business almost instantly. There's people out there, but there aren't banks out there. There's a whole rule of study that everything undergoes, and it just doesn't happen anyway. But
it's like, here's how stupid this is. I go to one of my banks who I can't stand banks, right? So I go to the bank, and we got, I don't know, $600,000 in their bank. And I say, "Hey, can I get a credit card with let's say, how about a $30,000 credit limit?" And they go, "Okay, let's have your social security number. We need to check your credit, and we need to look at your." You don't need anything except look at my bank accounts. There's $600,000 in your bank, and you won't give me a credit card with a $30,000 limit on it. Really? That's what we're talking about here. That's how big of a joke this is. And I'm telling you a true story. I just said, screw you. I don't want the credit card. I can get a credit card anywhere. I got an 840 credit score, and a matter of fact, maybe I'll take my $600,000 out of your bank, put it in another bank, and see what they give me. So exactly. There's a lot of moving parts here. And
I got to tell one more story. I decided to shut down my business when the bank said, "We will not allow you to use your credit card for over $5,000. Well, I never was late, never. High credit score like yours. And they decide that they're going to cut me off. We talked about this. I can't remember how long ago it was, but they cut it off. And I said, "That's it. No more." You multiply that times thousands and thousands of small businessmen. That's what's waiting to happen if we don't do this with integrity. People will just shut down. A lot of people have already. You've got doctors that have retired instead of go through the medical system. You've got other people in other fields that say, "No, I've had it. I won't do this for this kind of crazy limitation." And it's so important to understand, because it snowballs and builds up, and you're going to have an avalanche if we allow this in our society.
Yeah, and that's how it works, everybody listening. That's how it works. Those are the frustrations. And when you mix politics with business, and you've got these judges that are appointed or elected in some of these crazy places that don't understand business, nobody's going to do business there. That's a no-brainer. They're going to take the path of least resistance. That's what any smart businessman is going to do. But again, we've talked about this before. The politics of this is money, 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 money. They want the money to get reelected, and this influence is given this much money and this much money coming in from over here. So they make their policies according to who's greasing the wheels. And it's what's sad about this, and especially this Trump case, is I don't care. I don't care about this guy. But what's sad about this is this is not the rule of law. It's now becoming the rule of money. Who's paying you off? It's corruption. Sorry. You know, in one way or another, where's the money coming from? So it looks more like the rule of money to me than the rule of law.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for letting me blab, Pastor. We will talk to you
Important
next
stuff.
time. Yeah,
Yeah.
talk to you next time.